Hi, it's Snay again, and if you follow me at all, you know that I'm a big fan of elegant themes. They're professional, they're easy to manage, easy to maintain, and they allow any blogger to really put a professional polish on their blog front. Now, today I'm going to take a look at installing the brand new MyCuisine theme put out by Elegant Themes. I'm doing this for a client, so I'll be working on a site that's not my own, so some of it I'm going to have to privatize and not let you see. But this will be a start to finish video on how to download, unzip, install, and activate the new MyCuisine theme. So I hope you enjoy. Come on, let's take a look at that. To begin, I'm going to navigate to elegantthemes.com. And as you can see right here, there are a number of themes here. There's over 11 pages. Now, the one we're going to be installing is this new MyCuisine theme. And since I've already purchased my membership, I can log into the members area here. Okay, here is MyCuisine. I'm simply going to click the download link here, and I'm going to save this to my local computer, and I've got a folder here where I put a lot of my themes, and that's on my F drive right here. So I'm just navigating to where I want to store the theme so that I can unzip it. So I'm going to place it right here in a folder called My Themes and save. Okay, now that it's finished downloading, I can open a Windows Explorer and navigate to that same location where I just installed, or rather downloaded that file. If you're on a Windows machine, you can simply right click and choose Extract All. If you're on a Mac, please consult your local admin because I can't help you. So I'm just going to remove the ending folder that they're going to attempt to put here. I don't want it in a subfolder because it's going to be in one already, and if I leave that on there, it'll be MyCuisine theme and then MyCuisine theme and then the files that I want. Now, Elegant Themes also provides you all of the Photoshop files, which is why Elegant Themes don't natively install to WordPress. The reason being, the zip file contains more than just the theme files. It contains a changelog, a license file, a README, the theme in a folder underneath this folder, and then of course all the Photoshop files. So my reason for extracting it to my local computer first and uploading it manually is because this is actually the folder I want to upload. And if you've done any theme installation from WordPress, you know that the fact that it has all these folders and files is going to confuse WordPress. So I use a program called Filezilla, which I already have open here. And on the right hand side is my remote computer, and on the left hand side is my local computer. So once again, I'll simply navigate to where I just extracted that theme under My Themes, and I'm going to step down until I get to the folder that just says MyCuisine. So this is the folder I want to move into the themes folder here. So I'm simply going to right click and choose Upload, and off it goes. Okay, and as you can see here, there are quite a few files in the theme. It just successfully uploaded 805 files. So now it lives on my domain, the domain where we're going to actually be installing it. So the next step, of course, is to log in to your WordPress dashboard and activate that theme. Okay, now I am doing this particular installation for a client, and he obviously already has some content. Which means if you're trying to bring in a new theme with an older blog that has a lot of content, you run the risk of having things look a little bit weird while you adhere to the way the new theme works. Now, one thing I like about Elegant Themes is it uses a lot of thumbnails. It's a very visually appealing blog theme. Now, the downside to that in bringing that kind of blog theme onto an existing blog is we've got a lot of posts out here that won't have thumbnails, so it won't appear 100% correct until I take the time to go back and kind of massage or add images to some of those older posts. Just to recap, we've logged into the dashboard, we've gone to Appearance, we've gone to themes, and we're going to choose the new theme we just uploaded, which is called MyCuisine. Okay, and I've located it at the bottom of this page, so I'm going to try a preview first to make sure that it's not going to break everything if I do this. Okay, I'm definitely going to have to make a couple of changes. It does look like I've got a few little glitches in here. Now, this is not particularly unusual when you've got a blog theme that you're moving to that has a lot of pages. See how this has a lot of individual categories that are being brought in here, and his previous theme didn't display those, whereas his new theme will. So I'm definitely going to be depending heavily on the menu items to kind of clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and activate it, knowing full well that I'm probably going to have to clean quite a bit up. That's okay. This site doesn't currently get a whole lot of traffic. It's one of the reasons we're making these changes. So I'm just kind of crossing my fingers and hope I can get done before anybody comes to visit. Okay, all of Elegant Themes have options, additional options that you can kind of dial in and make changes specific to how you like to do things. For example, you can pick and choose what pages or categories will be displayed. Now, I'm noticing that this is trying to save, and it shouldn't be because we haven't actually made any changes yet. I've seen this on a few Elegant Themes conflicting with an existing plugin. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over to the plugins folder and deactivate everything I've got until I get my theme installed and set the way I like. So just pop over to plugins and go down the list and start deactivating those. Let me take a little quick timeout while I do that. Be right back. Okay, all of the plugins have been deactivated, and it looks like my saving option has gone away. So again, if you encounter this with Elegant Themes, it's just a quick little quirk, and typically disabling your plugins while you make a change here and then re-enabling will allow you to do that. Now, if you find out which plugin it is, now I typically just go through and mark them all and disable them all at once, and then re-enable them when I'm done. But if you find out which one it is, I'd be very curious to know. So drop me a comment down below and let me know, and I'll publish that to the text under this video. So with Elegant Themes, we can turn things on and off. In other words, we can decide on the home page what our content areas are going to be, and are we going to display a home page quote. Now, just to give you an idea of what that looks like, let me show you the original theme. Okay, this is the theme as it appears on the Elegant Themes site. It's got a featured content area at the top that's going to rotate through 3 moving images. Now I can increase this number, but be advised that each time you increase this, you're increasing the number of images that display on your home page, and that can sometimes mean it takes a little while to load. Underneath the featured content area is this quote area, and this is the area that ePanel setting was just talking about. There's also 3 areas in a widgeted area down below. So again, we're going to tell WordPress what we're going to use on the options for this theme using this ePanel for that particular theme. So if we turn it on, if we enable it, then we're asking, Elegant Themes is asking, okay, what do you want displayed in this content area 1, this content area 2, and this content area 3? And once again, that is here, here, and here. So we'll just pick and choose what goes where, and then how many posts, for example, do you want in the chef's recommendation section, and then do you want to exclude any categories from the chef's recommendation. Now obviously I'm going to make a quick little tweak to the blog. I don't necessarily want it to say chef's recommendation, although we are working on a cake decorating site. Maybe pastry chef would be more appropriate, for example. So again, the thing I like about Elegant Themes is if I don't want this one to appear and this one to appear, I simply check them and save the options, and now it will no longer appear in that list. There's a featured slider area, and as with most Elegant Themes, you have 2 different ways you can do it. One, you can base it on a category. In other words, you can create a category called featured content or featured articles. And any item you want to appear in that top rotating featured area, pick from a list here. So if I created one called featured articles, I would go find featured articles in this list, and then it would display the most recent 3 in that category. I can also choose to use pages, and if I want to do that, I simply click this so that it's enabled, and then I pick and choose which 3 pages, for example, that I want to appear in that featured content area. Now, although this is not the only thing you have to do to display featured content, this is step 1, so don't forget this part. Again, decide if you're going to use pages or posts. If you're going to use posts, set up a category and then choose what category will be displayed in the featured area here. If you're going to use pages, simply choose the pages. Now I'm gonna take pages off for right now because I've got a few other settings that I want to go through. Actually, I'm going to leave this on, and I'm just not going to say which 3. So I'm going to save that. Automatic slider animation, if this is enabled, it will automatically move from one featured item to another, as this one is doing. See, after about 7 seconds, it moves to the next one. You set that here with automatic animation, and you set the seconds here. Now, of course, this is in milliseconds, so 7,000 milliseconds is 7 seconds. If I change that to 5, that's 5 seconds. Okay, in addition to determining what goes on the featured slider area and what goes on the home page, we have some basic settings for the overall blog here. For example, if I had a custom image that I wanted to bring in, I could upload the image right here. If I had my own fave icon, I could upload that image here. I can pick and choose among the default or alternate color schemes for this particular blog. Now, before I go making any customizations, I'm actually going to look at each one of these to see which one I like best. Because once you start making changes, unless you create your own custom style sheet, once you start making changes to the CSS in blue, for example, and then you change your mind later and go to brown, well, you have to make all those same changes again. Now, what I like to do is create a custom style sheet that is separate from any of the colored schemes. So if I create customizations while I'm on brown and then I later change back to blue, all my customizations are still there because I'm using a what they call a child CSS theme or CSS sheet. You decide here whether or not you're going to do a blog post format and whether or not you want to grab the first image as a thumbnail if it's missing one. Now, because this particular blog has a lot of content and I don't know how many thumbnails are there, I am going to ask it to grab the first post image in the event that there is no thumbnail selected. So maybe I'll get some that way. I can also determine which categories will be excluded from the main menu, and right now all of those are. How many posts, category, archives, and searches. Now, this is going to determine how many are being displayed when they click on a search term, for example, or a tag. I generally like to up these numbers because I want them to be able to see a lot more of my content all at once. So they can make a choice. So I will probably take each one of these up to 12. Okay, the date format, the comment date format, and then do I want to use excerpts when defined? I do typically turn this on. Now, this Sufon font replacement is what makes those really fancy fonts available on this particular blog theme. As many of you know, if you have a font installed on your computer and I choose that font for my web page, when you view my web page, you're going to see the font correctly because you own the font. It's on your machine. However, if Sally Joe shows up on my machine and does not own that font, she won't see it. She'll see whatever the substitution is because she doesn't own it. With Sufon font replacement, I'm able to display my custom font whether it's loaded on your machine or not. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save those changes that I just made. In addition to the general settings, there are navigation-specific settings for pages, categories, and general settings, and layout settings for single post, single page, and overall. Now, as a rule, you'll see me disable the date fields on the single post and single page, predominantly because when people see a date, and that date is 6 months ago, they automatically, subconsciously believe that the content is no longer relevant to them because it's aged. Rather than read the content and judge it on its merit, they'll judge it based on the date. So I typically turn the date off, especially if I'm not going to be displaying new content 3 times a day every single day. So I will go through and turn that off. I do want thumbs on my posts, and I do want comments on my posts. I do want thumbs on my pages, and I do want comments on my pages, particularly since for this particular theme or this particular blog, the comment, I want to encourage that social proof on my pages because my pages are where my money is. In other words, when they come to the page and they're reading 3 reviews about a product, I want them to see that social proof, and then I want them to take the action, which is to purchase whatever that page is offering. Okay, now I'm not going to cover ad management, colorization, SEO, and integration. There's a lot of support documentation at Elegant Themes that I think you should look at, but I will show you one thing I do automatically, and that's enable this child style sheet, and I give it a directory, a direct listing to where I'm going to place it. Now, this particular location, or rather this file, does not exist yet, but I know I'm going to create it, and I know I'm going to give it that name, custom-style. Now, the other parts of this path are WP content, which is, of course, where WordPress puts all the things that you get to change, under themes, and then there's the theme name. So all I have to remember to do is create a new style sheet called custom-style.css and place that in this location. And anything I do there, any additional changes that I make there, will be appropriate across all color schemes. So I go ahead and do that so that when I start to make my first change, it's already done. I don't have to go back and worry about that. Okay, so that's it. The theme is essentially installed, and if we go look at it right now, we're going to see things are really kind of cattywampus. And the biggest reason, like I mentioned before, is because he's got a lot of categories that are being displayed, and they're kind of offsetting everything. And since I've told it, to display featured content, but I haven't actually featured any content, I've got a lot of crossover. Don't let this dissuade you. Just go in, take the steps to clean it up. First place I'm going to go is to the menu. Which I'll locate right over here under Appearance and Menus. Now again, I may come back and change some of these ePanel options later, but for now I've got just a basic configuration with some of my primary stuff there. Okay, so I'm going to give myself a primary navigation. Now this is for my name only. I mean, I'm the only one that sees this. It's not displayed anywhere on the blog, so this just lets me know which menu I'm working on. Okay, my theme does support 2 menus, one at the top and one in the footer. So the one I'm working on right now is this primary navigation. And if I save this right now and I go review this site, what I should see is everything here disappear. And it's gone. The reason it's gone is because I've told it to use this particular menu, but the menu contains nothing. So I need to now start putting the things that I do want to display in that primary navigation right there. So I do want the home page. I'll go ahead and add that. I do want them to be able to contact me, so I'll add that. And then I'm going to pick and choose, because I'm going to be making some changes to the pages and how they inherit from one another, and children and parents, how they relate to one another. I'm not going to go add a bunch to this menu right now. I'll add maybe 2 more just so we have something to work with. So we'll put wedding toppers and the store. Okay, now this particular page has a long name. I can, with this particular theme, get rid of some of that long list so that I display, for example, just classes online in the navigation bar. Okay, with Elegant Themes, or rather with WordPress 3.0 and up, with this menuing system, you can now drag and drop so that things appear where you want them to appear. So I'm just going to reorder this to Cake Decorating Classes Online, Wedding Cake Toppers, Contact Us, and Store. Now if I save this menu now, and again remember this is not the final menu, this is just to kind of get us a look and feel going. I'll refresh this, and what I should see now are the 4 things that I added. Now it looks like I've got some conflicts here, and before I go trying to change the theme, I am going to go add a featured piece of content because I think that's where my conflict is coming from. So I needed to decide which page is going to be my featured content and create it if I don't have it. So I'm going to bring back up my list of keywords and the things that I want to focus on, and I decided that Cake Decorating Templates is going to be a page that I'm going to focus on. And since that doesn't exist yet, I do need to create it and give it a custom image for the featured. So I'm going to go create that real quick, and then I'll pick up where I left off. Okay, I've added a new page, Cake Decorating Templates, and it was the only one I was expecting to be here. However, I've got an awful lot out here, and I look across here and I see I've got quite a few, so I've got a setting wrong in the ePanel. The other thing I did have to change was I had to take this off of a static page and put it on your latest post, because the theme actually controls what is displayed on the home page. So I'm headed back to MyCuisine theme options, and I'm going to tell it to get its featured content from pages that I specify. So right now it's choosing featured category, and I want to use pages, and I want to choose the one page that I've set up for this, Cake Decorating Templates. So let's save, and if I refresh this page now, I should get just the one that I specified. As we can see, I do. I just have the one. Now, I've chosen an image that didn't size very well, so I am going to want to adjust that. And I don't have any additional content out here, or in the way of an excerpt or a summary that I am going to want to fill in. But I do have my read more or see more link. So again, this was more a proof of concept than it was making sure this was correct. Now, like I said, this image is a little bit big, so one thing I'm going to do is kind of scale it down so that it'll fit in here a little better. Okay, that image is a little bit less grainy, and it occupies the full width a little bit better. However, there's something else I want to do with this particular theme. It's a bit too tall from here to here, and it's currently set at a height of 465. So I want to move my quote so that it appears at the bottom of each page. So I need to reduce the overall height of my featured image. Now I'm going to use Firebug to tell me how deep that needs to be. So I've selected the Find Element, and I'm going to hover until what I want is outlined in blue, and click right here on the element that contains it, and see that that's the featured ID that has a height of 465. Now I'm going to try changing that to 365, and obviously that's moved everything up really high, so I need to also find the slider content. So I'm going to hover, and I see here it is. So change that to 365, and what I should be getting is my image is much more narrow, and my quote is now visible on screen. That does also mean, though, in the event that I actually had some text here, this is going to be positioned in the wrong place. This is actually going to be dragging down here. So there's a third change I need to do, and that's move this up a little tighter into this top area. So once again, I'm going to select and then find the outer element, which would be this description right here, and see it's floating to the right. Has a width. Here we go. Here's the padding that moves it down 167 characters. So if I slide this up to about, say, 115, I'm going to get a little bit tighter in here and have room for a little bit of an explanation down here. So those are the 3 changes I want to do. And in order to do that, I'm going to create a blank CSS page that contains those 3 changes. Okay, the first change, of course, is going to be the padding that we just determined on this description. So I need to know what the rule is and what the change is. So I'm just going to copy all of that, and in where I'm editing, I'm just going to paste it. I'm going to get rid of everything that I'm not changing, so that there's no conflicts. Okay, so I just want to change the overall padding, so I'm going to save that. And then there were 2 other changes that I made. One here to the featured content, so let's select that and select featured, and I'm changing the height overall to 365, so I'll just open that back up, change the height, and again I'm only going to leave in here the thing that I'm changing. So one more, and that's inside this slide, and it's down right here with this page top slide height. So I'm going to grab that and drop it right here as well. Once again, remove what I'm not changing. Okay, so basically I've created a custom dash style that I'm going to place in the theme folder, just like I told it I would, which was under themes, under MyCuisine, and see I have it right down here. It is customstyle.css. So I'm just going to push this up to the web, and what this will do is, because I've already told the ePanel where I was going to get my child theme, it already knows, and so if I refresh right now with that new change, this should stay the same. See, our heading is as high as it needed to be, our quote is still visible, our image is not as tall. So that worked out really, really well. Okay, I'm just going to go through and add some more pages, add some more excerpts, and bring the content that I want to feature online. I'll check back in with you shortly. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. The theme itself, the blog itself, will stand as a sample. You can come visit that at cakedecoratinglessons.net to see the finished product. But this is a quick look at Elegant Themes and how to take an existing blog and make it work. Now, one quick thing I did that I don't think I showed you was, on this particular theme, all I did was put a title in. There's, as you can see, no content. And then I did tell it that this page is featured. I told it I wanted the description on the right hand side, and then I wanted the background color essentially to mask, or rather match, the background color that I was using in this image, which is kind of this gray brown. Okay, so I found that color and I put that right here so that it would match. And then here, of course, is going to be the excerpt text. So obviously you want to put a little bit more in here than what I have. And then this can be read more or see more, and it's going to build a button out of that. Now, on this particular theme, if you wanted that read more or see more or buy now button to actually take the visitor to a page other than this page, you could put a custom link here. If you're into affiliate marketing, for example, and you wanted to feature a product, you could put the text so that it said buy now, and then have this actually point to the location where they could click and go buy that product. So just so you know, that was all I did in this particular theme to cause that to appear on the home page with these options. See more will take you to the page. There is our excerpt, and there's the title that I gave it. Now if they click see more, it's going to take them to the page that I created, which has no content. So there's, since there's no content there, of course I've got some challenges here, but there's no content here unless I type something in this bit right here. So I hope that's clear. I hope I haven't confused you with that last little veer off tangent. So go pick up MyCuisine. It's a great theme. Elegant Theme is a great theme provider. And I'll check back in later to see how the cake decorating templates is coming along.